Traveling in sleep. There are no limits in sleep. When you sleep, the mind cannot control thoughts and perceptions. When you sleep, you are free to travel wherever you want, and you do so almost every night. When the mind's limitations of what is possible no longer weigh you down, you can enter a state that allows you to be transported through the entire universe. The body rests in the bed, but your consciousness, your true self, is elsewhere. Sometimes you may remember fragments when you wake up from a dream that feels like more than a typical dream. These astral journeys are necessary for your development, as it is in the safety of sleep that you can receive guidance, spend time with your helpers and star families, and most of all, receive support. You are supported in how to navigate your earthly life. We know that you often don't remember this when you wake up, but with each journey, you bring back more and more to your current home, the dimension where you exist as a human. But beneath the surface, in your deep consciousness, everything is already in place. Everything is as it should be, as it has been, and always will be. You. In your human state, which is essentially your sleeping state, you do not yet have full access to yourself. Your higher self is knocking on the door, and you meet more often and on an increasingly deeper level. You are simply reconnecting with yourself when you sleep, unimpeded by what otherwise limits you. You also evolve during the day, but it is at night that the greatest changes take place, where you gain access to the most significant source of growth. We now want you to practice remembering your dreams better, to practice holding on to the consciousness longer in your higher state when you wake up after the night's sleep. We will help you find the technique, but I probably don't need to say that an alarm clock is not the best way. Guilt and judgment. My fault, your fault, or someone else's fault. We are going to talk about guilt. We are going to talk about being guilty of something. The greatest feeling of guilt that people carry is feeling guilty toward themselves, but not many are aware of it. The gnawing feeling of discomfort that is hard to pinpoint, however, is familiar to many. You think you've done something wrong, but nothing could be more wrong. You can't do wrong because there is no right or wrong. True or false, there are only differences. There are different experiences, different life paths, different challenges, and different ways, but in the end, all roads lead home. So don't feel like you carry any guilt, any should or shouldn't. Accept yourself and your vulnerability as a human. Let the experiences teach you something, then go within and find your center and the power in the innermost core of unconditional love. There, all forgiveness, all understanding, and no judgment exist. Don't be so hard on yourself, my friend. Forms of expression. The way you create expression goes through your senses. The higher senses absorb the higher messages, and the more limited senses process the lower ones. Great thoughts express themselves in fine colors, but the small thoughts can create great changes. The difference is whether they are expressed and how they are transferred from thought to conscious feeling. Your form of expression is the word, through the pen and through speech. You must practice using words so that they reach their destination. All people interpret and take in words differently, based on experience and ability. Therefore, the form, the way to the receiver, becomes important. Today, it was hard to capture Nefertari's message. The words won't quite fall into place. The feeling of presence is there, but the words come hesitantly onto the paper. Thought and feeling collide. That's why it's sometimes hard to grasp the message. The feeling is there, but the thought wants to be 2 steps ahead. The thought wants to understand. Let the feeling lead the words. Just take one word at a time, one sentence at a time, without trying to see patterns or understand the meaning of the message. When we practice, it doesn't have to be right, because there is no right answer, and it doesn't matter if you, so to speak, lose contact. Thank you, Nefertari. It's not always easy to express oneself. It's not always easy to listen either.